Welcome to Switch Comics. My name is Marco. Wednesday, yet again, new comic book day. Got some cool books to talk about. Before we get into that, let me quickly tell you about my giveaway. At 600 subscribers, which we're just about 25 off from now, I am giving away 3 awesome comics. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel and leave a comment on this video. You can leave a comment on any other video on the channel and it'll give you an additional chance to win any of these 3. Like I said, we're so close to giving these away to people. And I'm excited to give away stuff to the community. It's always fun to talk comics and, you know, get comics in return. I think is a pretty cool little deal we got going on. I like giving stuff away. But anyway, let's talk about some books. It's a short week for me. I don't know how many books it is, but it's not too many here. I got a preview in here, which is one of them. Which, by the way, we're going to start off with Marvel. Marvel preview came out, so make sure to grab one of these from your local comic shop. Shows a bunch of cool things that are coming up and coming out. And what I'm really excited about is that they are teasing like a new event of sorts. There'll be several, if you're looking through it, there'll be several different, you know, it'll show you here's the new X-Men, or here's new this or that or whatever. And then there's a few things that will have this label on the top of it. I'm trying to find it now, and I'm seemingly lost. Come on, I want to find one example, because it was maybe 3 or 4 times in this. There's a lot of cool covers and stuff. That's part of one of my favorite things, is looking at all the covers. But anyway, if you'll see here at the top, it'll have a label that says Judgment Day is coming. And if you read The Timeless, which was basically a preview book for what's upcoming in 2022, what's his name? Kang. I want to say Time. Kang mentioned something about a Judgment Day, and so they're giving us these little tiny hints, and I like that because a lot of times the suspense of something is a lot more investing than the actual payoff of what happens. Not to say, you know, whatever ends up happening is going to be not good or whatever, but a lot of times it's how you build the suspense for something that really gets you, you know, truly invested and intrigued into something. And I like these little bit of teasers that we're getting. I think it's super cool. Also, that makes me wonder, this new event that we don't really know what it is, presumably, let's just say it's called Judgment Day. Does that mean, since Jed MacKay wrote Timeless, is Jed MacKay going to be in charge of it? Because if so, I'm even more excited, because he is a fantastic writer, and I can't wait to see if that is the case. Look at these cool covers. There's lots of cool covers in these books. Definitely get one of these. They're free. Check them out. See what is coming up, what you might want to get on your pull list. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the books that I did end up picking up today. Starting off with Thor number 20. And this one, I'm not going to spoil anything, but just so you all know, because the 1 in 25 on this thing is pretty crazily priced. It's going for like $100 when I checked on it earlier. And we'll just say it's a first appearance, but because I don't know how it's going to be labeled, it is just a final page. It's a big, you know, it's one full page, but it's just a single panel, you know, technically speaking. So it's just a cameo appearance. So all I'm saying is, you know, if you want to get it, go ahead, do your thing. I'm not here to say not to or whatever, but be cautious and know that this is probably going to just be referred to as a cameo appearance and not a full first appearance. And just be careful with your money. Now, getting into the actual story of this thing, Thor, I mean, this whole series has been awesome. And it's crazy to think we're on number 20 now. Like, we've come so far. But the whole series has been relatively really good, we'll say. There's been higher points. Like, I think the first issue is one of the highest points, honestly. It's such a good starting issue. And there's other points where it's you know, really, really good or whatever. But overall, it maintains this steadiness of, yeah, the series is pretty good, you know? But man, we're getting into like really good stuff again. It's getting pretty awesome. I'm really excited for next issue. I think you know, we've been building up to this mystery of like, you know, what's going on with Mjolnir and all this, and now there's this kind of, it's built to this new threat, and I'm super excited to see what's about to happen with it. Again, you get a cameo, which I guess is a slight spoiler, but cameo of a new character. I don't know. I'm really excited. I don't want to spoil too much, but we're still building up to it. But like next issue, we're hitting it. You know, we're getting to it. So I was very happy reading that issue, and I'm excited to see the next one. Moving on to the next book, here we have Darkhold Omega, which is a fantastic cover. I think just a super strong cover. The story itself, nah, it's fine, I guess. Basically, Darkhold was kind of like a two-shot in that sense, as in, you know, the Alpha and the Omega tied together. The other one-shots in between had very little to do. It was just an excuse to do kind of dark what-if stories. That being said, I mean, it was fine. There is one cool thing that a character that is introduced, it's not a first appearance, but it is the first time they've been used in a very long time. And if you read Timeless, there's another character that was introduced that is actually not even a Marvel character. Or teased. They were teased. And there's another character actually in Timeless as well that hasn't been used in a long time, that was in like one little tiny image in there. So I'm really curious what Marvel is getting at, what they're working at. They're doing something, and they're bringing these obscure characters into the fold. And like I said, and Judgment Day is something coming up soon. So I'm very excited to see what will come of that. So if anything, this book has some importance as far as this other character. Like I said, the story's whatever, but honestly, even if I wasn't reading Darkhold, I would have picked this up just for the cover alone. I think it is an absolutely insanely cool cover, and one that it's already starting. I know we just started, but that's going to be one of the best covers of the year. I'm calling it. It is insane. And then our last Marvel book, we have Wastelanders Doom. I've been enjoying these Wastelanders books. They've been fine. I think the Wolverine one is the best one so far. And sticking with that, I think it's still better than this one. I think this one was pretty cool. I think if you're a big fan of Doctor Doom, you're going to like this one. It had a lot of them in it, obviously. It was better, because like Darkhold had some Doctor Doom stuff. And I think it's kind of hard to write for Doom. The way he talks in third person and the way that he's so full of himself, I think can lend to some bad writing, in my personal opinion. And I think he wasn't very good in Darkhold, but I think they did a pretty good job at writing for him in this one shot here for Wastelanders. A pretty cool cover on it. I didn't say anything about the cover, but I like that cover. It's pretty nice. And then moving on to our indie stuff, a book that I've been very hyped for a very long time. I was seeing, is that insane color rub on that? I didn't pay attention to that. Wow. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it's just a black cover. And it's got... Can you see that? I was so excited to get into it that I just picked it up and started reading it. But that is some crazy color rub. I'll have to see if I can get a different one. Yeah, that's... black covers, man. They are hard to take care of. But anyway, I absolutely love this series. It is incredibly good. I think it is such an interesting kind of take on humanity and the progression, and kind of what it means to be human, and fairness and justice, and it has a lot of cool concepts. It's so good. One of the most exciting parts about this is the very end, though, because it's issue 5 of a 5-part series. But there is hope. There is hope, because at the last page, let me find it here. It says End of Volume 1. So we might be getting some more. Obviously, it will depend on if this series did well. I don't think it's one that a lot of people, that I've seen a lot of people talk about, or necessarily are reading. I don't know how the sales are doing. I know for the shop that I work at, there's not a ton of people that are reading it. It actually might just be one other person other than me. So, I don't know how well it's doing elsewhere. So hopefully it gets another volume or whatever they're going to call it, another continuation, because it's been a solid read. Really enjoyed that. And with this issue, they took it in a very different direction, and left off at a very interesting point that I wasn't expecting it to go to, and was kind of very unexplored previously in this series. So I think moving forward, if they do another 5 issues or whatever, they left it at a good point to make it very different from what we have right now. So I'd be very intrigued to see how it could be a totally different book, which would be very interesting to see. So I'd be very excited. I really hope they continue with Not All Robots, and it's one that I cannot recommend enough. Super amazing story. It's a lot to dig into, and there's a lot of commentary within the dialogue, and it's super cool. It's super interesting. It's a book that makes you think. Moving on to another great independent, we have Nocterra. This is the Blacktop Bill special, which has been a little while since we had a Nocterra issue. This one goes into the history, the lore of Blacktop Bill, kind of how he was created, what he was, and everything. And so far in the series, he's just been chasing. I can't remember their names. It's been so long since I read Nocterra. But he's just been chasing our protagonist, and we don't really know anything about him. He's just a scary man, a scary, dangerous man. And this kind of tells you even more about how dangerous and scary and crazy that he truly is. It was a pretty fun read. I do gotta say, though, it really just makes me want to get right back into the main story of Nocterra, because Nocterra is an incredible read. I've really enjoyed it. And yeah, I don't know when the next one comes out, the next main issue, because it's been on a break for, feels like a little while now, and so this just got me like, oh, come on, I need more of it. But yeah, pretty cool. If you haven't checked out Nocterra, there's not too many issues of it. The first issue has kind of popped up in price a little bit. I think it was optioned for a show or something. I can't remember, which is super exciting, by the way, because it's a great series, and I think it'll make a pretty interesting show as well. And then we got a couple more here. We got, what number is this? Soul Plumber number 4. Only got 2 more issues after this. Or Soul Plumbers, rather. No, it's just Soul Plumber. I thought it was S. Oh well, whatever. Very, very strange book. This one was probably one of my least favorite, mainly because there's a character that is introduced. I mean, she's been introduced already, but there's a character that is explored further in this issue, and sometimes the language it's very vulgar. It's very extreme and in a goofy way, and it can be a bit too silly for me sometimes, but it's usually in small doses throughout this series, relatively. This issue, there was a lot of it, and it was kind of too much. It was kind of like, the joke's not funny anymore, but I think the character won't be coming back through the rest of the series, so it's fine. It's fine that it happened, and I get it, and it makes sense, but yeah, I don't know. This one just it was a little bit more of a chore to read. This particular character was a little bit too long-winded. Again, it's just mind-mushing vulgarity relentlessly, and they were very long-winded as well. So this just said a lot of just nothingness, and it was just kind of, yeah, okay. But this series is fine. I really like it. It's crazy, it's weird, and I'm having fun with it. This issue is just my least favorite one so far. But it set up some cool things for the next one, so I'm excited to continue reading it. And definitely not anything that I'm like, oh, well, this turned me off entirely or nothing. It's just sometimes you have a weak issue. It happens. And not that it was terrible or nothing, just not my favorite. And then, unfortunately, I'm running a little bit light on time today, despite even having a little bit less books than normal. But there's a couple books I did not have time to read, including, I was very excited to read this one. We got Basilisk number 6, which, by the way, I think this is the B cover. Or was this the A or the B cover? I can't remember. It was the B cover. I thought it was like, it was too cool. I have to get the B cover on this one. I think, from my memory, the A cover was pretty cool as well, but this one was just a really nice cover. So unfortunately didn't get to read that one, and didn't get to read Two Moons number 8, which I think I actually at some point skipped a couple issues of this. I think I forgot to read some, and there's definitely some missing knowledge in my brain. So I need to go back and read that series from whatever point I skipped on anyway. But that is everything that I picked up this week. Like I said, pretty light week for me anyway. Maybe you got more books than I did. Maybe you got less books than I did. Probably less books because I'm a bit of a crazy man and have a lot of books on my list. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. As always, I look forward to hearing what you're reading, what you think about what you're reading, what I'm not reading that you're like, how are you not reading this? Or if you disagree with me on different things that I'm reading or whatever. I have exciting things coming up all this month. We're going to do a lot of reflective videos talking about 2021 basically. I got best covers of the year, best stories of the year. I got a lot of cool things that I've put a lot of work into making these lists. It's taken me a while to get it all together and figure it out. I got some cool ones coming up. And also, got our stream coming up tonight as well. Every Wednesday, we stream at 8 p.m. Love to see you there. We're going to be hanging out, talking about comics, maybe talking about Book of Boba Fett. Very excited to watch that. And, yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you all, as always, for watching. And I'll see you next time. Ha 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 ha!